We are going to bring on to the show Brian. Now, Brian wants to talk about abortion. Brian is pro-life. So, hello, Brian. If you can hear me, please give me your age and pronouns.
Yeah, my age is 25, and my pronouns, you can give me he, him.
Okay. Now, Brian, you are against abortion. Why don't you tell me why?
Yeah, I think it's wrong. I think abortion is wrong, and I don't do,
Okay.
But before we get into it,
Why?
I just want to at least say this. I'm glad that you're willing to have this conversation because, we're both dudes. You feel me? And people, they try to diminish us. They say dudes can't talk about this. So the fact that you talking about this and we talking about this, we're taking steps forward, bro. This is progress. So I appreciate this, bro.
Okay. Why is abortion wrong, though?
Probably because I believe it's murder of an innocent human being.
Okay, so abortion is wrong because it's murder of an innocent human being. Is it always wrong to kill a human being?
Yeah, it's an innocent human being, yeah.
Okay, it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being. So it would be wrong if I were to pull the plug on somebody on life support because they are an innocent human being and it would be killing them.
Yeah, like that's not cool, bro.
Okay, so that would be wrong. Now, why is it wrong to do that? What specific about doing that is wrong? Like, I'm sure they die, but why is that wrong that they die?
Sorry, hold on, I'm eating a grape. Hold on. So it's wrong to kill an innocent human being because I believe that innocent human beings have innate value and they have human rights. And so it's not okay to kill an innocent human being, right? Because as human beings, we can't make that decision to kill a human being,
Okay,
right?
so
We can't
you've just
play
sort
that.
of given me a circular answer. You're saying it's wrong because it's wrong, right? I want to know.
Oh,
like,
no, because I said it's wrong because we have innate value as human beings that was given to us by God, right? And so I want to know why you think it's okay to kill it.
Well, now you have to prove a God.
Oh,
I'll just let you know that. In order to, this is why abortion debates that happen from a theistic point of view are kind of pointless, because now, in order to prove that you're correct, you have to prove God exists. I'll tell you my stance pretty quickly. I don't believe that we have inalienable human rights just because we're humans. I don't believe that killing a human is necessarily wrong if that killing engages in zero harm. And I believe that it's more harmful for people who are pregnant to be forced into that pregnancy than it is to kill a being that cannot experience harm, which is what an abortion would be.
So you don't believe in human rights, like stuff like that. Like you believe
I don't believe we have rights inherent to the fact that we're human. No.
Okay. So then what's the difference between like owning like maybe a human being, like a black person? Like what's wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, I think that it's wrong to own a sentient being, like a sentient human. It would be wrong to do that because that person has a level of bodily autonomy because they are sentient, not because they're human.
But why does that matter that they're sentient?
Because being sentient is the only way you can experience harm.
But why does it even matter though if they experience harm?
Because I think nothing's wrong with, like, if I owned a dead body for let's say there's a black man and he's alive. And I own him. I think this is wrong because there's some level of harm he's experiencing. That harm would be the stripping of his bodily autonomy. Whereas let's say it's just a dead body. I don't necessarily think owning that dead body is wrong because he's a dead body and he's not experiencing any harm.
Yeah, but but why does it matter if someone experiences harm? You didn't explain that part.
Why does experiencing harm matter? It's just some evolutional intuition, right? We've seen that societies that limit harm reduction tend to grow and thrive and prosper better than societies that don't. I know that when I experience harm, it's a negative, so I would want to make sure other people don't experience that negative because I've experienced the negative. So therefore, we intuit that harm is wrong.
But Jovan, with that same logic, right, we could see that the greatest civilizations, because you're talking about civilizations, the greatest ones came to be through religion, right, through a belief of a higher power. So you would
What does
intuit
that have to
that there must
do?
be something about this higher power, right? Like you
What?
just appealing to civilization, you know. And
What?
also, if you want to appeal
I
to
don't think you
civilization,
understand what those words
America,
mean.
America grew. You know, one of the reasons why America grew so well was because of slavery in its inception, and that's what made it prosper. And so we would then intuit, evolutionarily intuit, that slavery is what leads to a prosperous nation, right?
Yeah, incorrect. So I said about nations thriving, and when I'm saying the word thrive, I don't just mean these nations are doing well economically. I mean that the people of these nations are thriving and succeeding. And if half of your population is enslaved, then I'm not saying the people
Yeah.
of your nation are thriving. Half of them are
But
slaves.
it's just like, and this is a lot, like, because let me say, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. People will dehumanize a baby. They'll say it's just a clump of cells. So you're saying
Have I
half the
said that?
population is enslaved, but it's just
Have I
property,
said that
right?
they're
That's the
just
logic.
I'm sorry, Brian, have I said that they're a clump of cells?
No, but I'm just using that same
No.
logic. Like that's
Well, but that's what I'm saying. You're using logic that I'm not using. I don't think
okay.
fetuses are just clumps of cells. They're absolutely human bodies. I have no issue saying
Okay.
that. What I'm telling
Yeah.
you is that when I look at why or why not we should do something, the ability to experience harm from that thing plays a factor here. And fetuses
But
prior to
you
24
never.
weeks cannot
Oh,
experience
go ahead.
harm.
Hello.
Yeah, I said fetuses prior to 24 weeks can't experience harm.
You don't think killing something is like inherently like harmful to it?
No.
Oh. But yeah, let's go back. I didn't know you were gonna say that, but I appreciate that. But let's go back though to why, like you told me to prove God, and I'm glad you asked, right? So I'm gonna do that within probably 20-30 seconds, right? So God is self-evident. Like it's very self-evident that there is a God. That's why pretty much every human throughout human history believed in one. You know, atheists, they're like literally 0.001%. It's like
Okay.
trans people, how they're just like
Okay.
0.001%.
Brian, you
That's
said you were going to
atheism.
prove God, and your ability to prove God was God exists because because it's self-evident God
No, but
exists.
no,
This is the
I didn't
worst.
get to it yet. Don't worry.
This might be the
I'm gonna
worst
get to it.
evidence of God I've heard all day.
No, hold on. Get to it. Let me explain it. So
Okay,
God
we
is
get to it.
self-evident, right? Because here's why. This, for example, we're both speaking through a phone, right? And so the fact that a phone exists is proof of a phone maker. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay,
the
you're
fact
just
that
doing
it
God of the
exists.
gaps. I don't care about the God of the gaps argument. It's a lazy
No,
argument.
it's not God of the gap. It's
Yes,
not
it
God of the gap.
is. That is quite literally God of the gaps. You're saying the proof.
No.
Yeah, no, Brian, this is like inherently the God of the gaps argument. You're saying the evidence God
No.
exists is that there must be a creator, and since there must be a creator, that means there must be a God because there's a creator in all things.
No.
My argument would just be like, well, what if the universe doesn't need a creator? Now what?
No.
We don't know that the universe had to be. We don't know that the matter of the universe didn't just always exist. There's no evidence that it was created.
Smart dude, by the way. Like, you just got to the end of it, bro. But
Yes, I
but
know
just
because
for
I've heard this
because
argument 100 times.
yeah, well, just for, can I just explain it just so everyone understands? Because you just leaping. Some people, they don't follow that line of logic. So just to make it for everyone understands, my point is that a phone
Sure, I'm gonna
exists,
eat a donut.
which proves that there's a phone maker. You know, a building exists, which proves there's a builder, right? Buildings don't build themselves. And so creation, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything is proof of a creator, right? So now Jovan is saying that, oh, but who's to say that the universe didn't always exist? But then y'all are the same people, and I don't know what he believes specifically, but you guys are the same people that believe in the Big Bang. And so the Big Bang goes against this idea.
Brian, you're showing a fundamental misunderstanding of the Big Bang. The Big Bang is not saying that at this time everything in the universe came to be. The Big Bang is saying that all the matter that did exist prior to our material universe existed in a condensed state, and then that state expanded. The Big Bang is not making it. It makes just about, Brian. It makes just about as much sense as a dude in the clouds creating the universe.
Hey,
it makes the exact amount of sense of somebody who snaps his fingers and everything just wills itself into existence. What are you talking about?
He didn't snap his finger. He spoke it into existence. And don't say God.
It makes the exact same sense. It makes the exact same amount of sense. This is why God of the gaps is a boring argument. It doesn't do anything.
It's not a boring argument. This is what proved. That's why atheism is finished.
Nobody, bro. Most people who are most apologetics, most theists don't use God of the gaps as an argument anymore because they realized it was a boring argument.
No, you're misusing God of the, because I know what God of the gaps is, but this is not God of the gaps.
Yes,
I believe
it
this is like
is.
teleological or cosmological, but this is not called God of the gaps.
That is the God of the gaps argument.
But hold on, but God of the gaps is saying, oh, we don't understand what this is, so it must be God.
You are doing that. That's what you're doing. You're saying we don't understand how the universe came into existence, so it must have been a creator. My G.
Come on. Don't miss it. My logic is, if there's something that exists, it had to have been created by something, because that's how everything works in society. So that's not the God of the gaps, bro. Come on.
Wait, why? How do I know that? How do you know the universe hasn't just always existed?
Because every single thing, literally every other thing in existence, if it exists, was created by something else, right? Like the desk that you're sitting in front of, someone made the desk.
And so you're saying because everything must have had a creator, then the universe must have had a creator. Why couldn't the universe have just created itself?
That doesn't work like that.
Says who?
The only thing that could do that is God, because God exists outside of time, space, and matter.
Okay, who created God? If everything has a creator, who created God?
Exactly. So God exists outside of time, space, and matter. So he's eternal. So he was uncreated.
Okay, so the universe can't be eternal, but God can be eternal. This is lazy apologetics, my G.
No, it's not lazy. This is the explanation that.
How do we know that? How do we know that the universe prior to the Big Bang didn't exist outside of time and space?
Because the universe couldn't exist before. The universe wasn't a thing before the Big Bang.
That's not true. You don't understand the Big Bang enough to have this conversation. The Big Bang is not claiming that the universe didn't exist prior to this. That's not what the Big Bang is saying.
The idea, and to put it simply, the idea of the Big Bang is that there is nothing and then boom, and then something. And that's what y'all believe in. I don't believe.
No, that's not the Big Bang.
But hold on, we getting so far away. Let's go back to abortion though. And you a smart dude, like you just all over. You know so many topics and stuff, bro. But like we got to go back to abortion, bro. Because you were saying that killing something isn't harmful. Like this
argument is centered around the fact that God exists. That's your whole argument. You have no
morality though. Like you just saying evolutionarily into it. You just making stuff up. That's what you're doing.
Okay, so you don't understand how morality works.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Most of the things that we view as bad come from an evolutionary intuitive standpoint. We have seen what happens when you do X, and so we say X is bad because we've seen the negative outcomes of X. That's why we don't tend to say stuff that we haven't seen a negative outcome as is bad. This is just morally intuiting these things. What you're claiming is that your morality has to come from God, and God said abortion bad, so therefore abortion bad. It's not a good argument. It's lazy. And the only way to continue the argument is you have to now prove God exists. Because if God doesn't exist, then you're standing. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
But look, also, because the proof I gave, there's many proofs for God. Also, Jesus rising from the dead is also proof.
I don't believe Jesus rose from the dead.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing, because you can say you don't believe in something, but here's the thing. Don't believe that.
Let me rephrase.
Hold on.
There is no evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. Not that I don't believe it. There's zero evidence that exists in our physical world that proves Jesus rose from the dead.
Yeah, because his bones aren't here no more. That was his evidence, and there is a lot of evidence for his resurrection.
No, there isn't.
And so, yeah, you rephrased it.
There is no evidence. There is no evidence for Jesus' resurrection. There's none.
But everybody knows that the apostles and the early Christians, they witnessed it. They wrote about it, and they were willing.
People also wrote mermaids exist. Do you believe in mermaids?
No, I haven't seen.
Okay, so just because a couple dudes wrote it down doesn't mean it's proof.
Look, I'm not saying they aren't real. I think they're probably demons. I think they're sirens or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't rock with mermaids if they are real. That's demonic. But my thing is though that people and we want to talk about morally and evolutionarily into it. Look, who would die for a lie, right? Like, people don't die for
Tons
lies
of people.
that they.
Tons
Oh,
of people
no, no,
die
no.
for lies. Tons of people.
And
What are you talking
give an
about?
example.
Everybody in cults. Everybody who's drank the Kool-Aid has died for a lie.
And I wanted you to say that argument, right? Because cults are different, right? Because people, they are being deceived and they believe the lie that they're told.
I don't.
Right?
Wait, hold on. This is where you're wrong. I don't disagree that the apostles probably believed the shit they were spouting. That doesn't make it true.
No, that's not my point. That's not my point. My point is that you brought up cults, and so cults are people being deceived. Someone told them something, and then they accept the lie. The difference between them and the early Christians is that the early Christians themselves, you're claiming that they made up their own lie. They said, "Hey, I saw this," and so they all collectively, all these different random people, all collectively said they saw something, and they're willing to die for something. They're not
random people. They were people who believed Jesus was the Son of God. They believed in Jesus's divinity. These aren't random people. No. It's not just some Joe Schmo off the street. It's people who followed him and believed in his divinity. So it makes sense that people that followed him and believed in his divinity might have, I don't know, believed he rose from the dead. It makes total sense.
But they all thought he was cooked. They all thought he was cooked when he got captured by the Roman guards, Jesus Christ. They all fled because they're like, "Oh, he's finna die, and I don't want to die too." So they all fled from Jesus, and then they saw him get crucified. Sounds like they were great. And then these same people who were cowards, and they literally fled from death because they didn't want to die like Jesus. After they saw him rise from the dead, now they're willing to die, proclaiming that person they saw die rose. Like, bro, come on, bro. And it's all these different people. You saying they're Joe Schmoes, or they're not Joe Schmoes, bro. They Bartholomews. They you know what I'm saying? They Bartholomews. They're not Joes. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They might be Josephs. You know what I'm saying? But look, but here's the thing. These people witnessed something that changed the course of human history. It's 2025 since the AD. You know, the calendar is based off Jesus Christ, bro. Jesus Christ is Lord, bro. That's why people hate him.
What the fuck does the calendar have to do with anything? Dude, oh my God. This is the laziest form of apologetics I've ever heard in my life.
This is to prove
and I do this every day.
This is to prove his motion, that Jesus Christ is not normal. That's why people mock him. They scoff. They hate it when you bring up his name. It bothers them because they have demons. And Jesus
I hate when you bring up his name in the middle of a debate to try to claim that, like, you're right because Jesus said something. That's lazy. It is a lazy form of debate.
But hey,
L-A-Z-Y.
Come on, bro. You said lazy butt?
It's a lazy form of debate. L-A-Z-Y.
Lazy. Okay. Nah, but look, at the end of the day, bro, I think I don't really know. I wasn't reading your chat. I think people are really realizing, man, abortion wrong, bro. If you believe in human rights, abortion goes against human rights, and you appeal to the fact that the baby is a human. A lot of people, they try and deny that.
Yeah, again, I don't believe that we're granted some rights simply because we're human. I believe we get rights because we're sentient creatures, and rights as a moral framework are just ways that sentient creatures engage with each other and, like, unspoken rules they put in forth of engagement. A non-sentient being doesn't engage, therefore it has no need for rights.
So we can
just don't know what rights are.
Right.
Women are most women are sentient, my G. Most trans people are sentient, my G.
You said most trans people are sentient? What do you like?
Yeah, you're saying we could get rid of women and trans rights. No, those are sentient creatures, so they would have rights based on the fact that they are sentient.
What about wait, are animals sentient?
Yes, animals deserve rights too.
Okay. Dang.
I hate to tell you, it's probably wrong that we kill animals, yeah.
And this is my last thing, and I'm honestly really happy about this conversation. This is my last hypothetical I'm going to give you. So let's say a boyfriend got his girlfriend pregnant, right? And he didn't want to be a father, and so without her knowing, he put medication in her food, and when she ate that food, it ended up terminating her pregnancy. Do you believe that's wrong?
Yes, because it's an unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
Yeah, and he would get charged with murder if he were to do that, right?
He would get charged with unlawful. He would get charged with unlawful termination of a pregnancy. It's typically you don't get charged with a double homicide, or you wouldn't get charged with a homicide or a murder until the fetus is like 24 weeks old. In which case, in most states, now they have a statute that you're going to get charged because guess what? 24 weeks old is around the time sentience starts, We have examples of
But
people killing pregnant people or killing the fetus of a pregnant person, and they're charged with unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
yeah, but it's not, you can say that, but some people, they get charged with murder, whatever. But the thing is, it's crazy how if a guy does that, it's considered murder. But if a woman willingly takes those same medications,
it's considered unlawful termination of a pregnancy. It's not considered murder. And even if it was, it would determine on the state you're in. So it's just an appeal to authority. Like, I don't give a fuck what the state says.
But it's not even you're right. It's not even about that. But I think intuitively, because you want to talk about intuitive, most people would be like, that's wrong for a man to do that. But if a woman willingly takes those same medications, people are like, oh, women's rights. But it's like, if
I'm
it's
going
wrong
to
for
abort
a guy
this conversation because we're circling the drain right now, Brian. Feel free to call back if you want to debate at a different time, but I'm going to engage in my bodily autonomy and abort this conversation. Hey, thank you all for watching this video. If you don't know me, I'm Jovan Bradley. I'm a leftist content creator who does debates, political commentary, gaming, and more. If this is your first video, thanks for sticking to the end, and I hope you subscribe. I post videos daily, and there are hundreds of past debates on my page for you to enjoy. Thank you to all of my YouTube members. Your continued support helps me create as much as I can. Consider joining. A membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to our community Discord, early access to videos, and more. Shout out to my Tier 4 members, Zurith Moonpaw, Kazim, Never Again, Ovaltine, Sylvia Snow, Bamji, Emery Emojin, Ayla Ursus, Vel, Kelsey K, Jake Gorshander, Matthew Holloway, Vampy, Yemye, Mealy, and Dragon Nerd. Your continued support goes a long way to me continuing the fight for equity, justice, and education. Thank you again for watching.